Welcome to the 1 year challenge. I'm trying to get every achievement I can in WoW in 1 year. Today is a special day. We're going to be taking a break from Legion to do something I've been wanting to do for a while, and that's pet battles. It's a mechanic added in Pandaria, which is basically just Pokemon. If Pokemon was a random rat you found on a street. But with this new mechanic came a bunch of new achievements. And in this episode, we'll be focused on collecting everything from the Eastern Kingdoms and Kalimdor. But first, we gotta make a character. And doing my very best to catch a lawsuit from Nintendo, I decided to make a man named Ketchum. I also decided to skip the tutorial island so we can get straight to catching the local wildlife. Which brings us to some extra challenges in play. The first being that I only wanted to level up this character through pet battle related activity, such as catching new pets, exploring new areas, and battling other trainers. The second challenge was one I did not choose. This character was made at the same time as Grab'em, back in January, meaning he did not get the benefits of skywriting like Born High did. Instead, we will be getting everywhere by foot. Which brings us to our final extra challenge. Each classic area has a minimum level requirement. So I'm basically zone locked until I level up, which I can only do while pet battling. This is gonna take forever. To start our journey, we must first acquire a pet. Since we're human, we can get starters as well as battle pet training from Marcus Jensen in Goldshire. After buying an orange tabby and renaming it Garfield, we head out to grab all the unique pets of Elwyn Forest. Now the trick to finding the various pets in this forest is to employ the use of common sense. Obviously, you're not going to find a frog on a mountain. And if I have to tell you where a stormwind rat is, you may need to go back to school. I think the only animal on this list that was mildly difficult to find was the black sheep. And even then, I found one right outside Northshire Abbey. But it makes sense that these are easy to find as this is a starting zone. And as the levels of each area increase, so too does the difficulty in obtaining the creatures found within. Taking a break from the forest, we head into Stormwind to find one of the street rats. And stepping past the gate, our add-on lights up with a lot more pets than I was expecting. I completely forgot guild rewards were a thing. But since I still haven't made one of those, we ignore it for now. One day I'll make one. One day. I ended up wandering around Old Town for about 5 minutes before I gave up trying to find a Stormwind rat. I could only really find the regular ones, not the battle pets. But little did I know I could have just killed the regular ones and the battle versions should have spawned in their place. I instead decided to hunt down the toy vendor and buy up all the pets he had. I even found the rare pet vendor that sells the white cat before I found a Stormwind rat. I eventually gave up finding the rat and went to check the farms of Elwyn Forest for chickens. And at those farms, I found Stormwind rats. I guess it makes sense that the farms would have them since they ship cargo to and from the city. But whatever, at least we got it. All that's left of Elwyn is the chickens. And I found one out in the farms of the Eastvale logging camp. It also happens to be the first rare quality pet we've caught so far. After catching this chicken, we are finished with Elwyn Forest. And we're treated to the All the Things fanfare for 100%ing an area. Yeah, that's gonna happen a lot. Alright, now that we've finished our first zone, let's talk strategy. So the area we just finished is considered a starting zone. And counting the horde, there's roughly 9 to 10 of those in the game. And next to them is usually a secondary questing zone. Since Ketchum is at a high enough level to enter both a starting zone and the secondary zone, my plan will be to travel to each of these areas and catch all the pets in them until my level's high enough to venture deeper into the higher leveled areas. The quote-unquote easiest areas will be the Alliance zones, but I plan on going to the Horde ones too. Again, I'll be doing this all on foot. We don't get access to any kind of mount until level 10, and flying mounts until level 20. Did I also mention I don't have any flight paths? That means the hardest starting zones for me are Teldrassil and Eversong Woods, both of them requiring a full transcontinental journey each. But we aren't going to worry about that right now because we are headed to Westfall. Heading across the bridge, I immediately challenged the trainer on the side of the road. It wasn't particularly difficult, but I think I'm going to save the rest of the trainer battles for a later time. Back to catching random animals. And we still are in that phase of just throwing a crate at regular wildlife, so everything goes fairly smooth. The only real unique creature on our list was a harvest golem. And after capturing the snake, we finish up Westfall. Now with our first secondary location finished, I decided to go to Red Ridge Mountain. This place is the reason I stick to only secondary locations going forward. The battle pet level for this area is only 5, and since my pets reached that in Westfall, I figured I'd try it out. The only problem is that I'm a level 4 character in a level 10 zone, but I still managed to catch the pets on this list by only fighting 1 to 2 mobs at a time, even getting this spider pet off of this rare. Now that we've tamed 3 zones, it's time we head up to Dun Moreau. Luckily, we won't have to walk thanks to the Deep Run Tram in Stormwind. You may have also noticed that I've changed my outfit as well as the pets I'm using. At some point, I realized I obtained a black cat and renamed it to my Twitch mascot. Speaking of Twitch, you should go follow me there. As for my outfit, it will continue to change until I eventually look like a bootleg version of the anime protagonist. And while I was explaining all that, we've successfully caught all the pets in Dun Moreau, and we head to Loch Modan. Heading through a tunnel, we're greeted by the 2 kings and make our way to Thelsamar. From here, we begin our hunt for a regular rat and a little black ram. There's really not going to be a ton of variety in these starting zones as we've caught all the basic critters that you'd find. Squirrels, rabbits, rats, and deer make up a majority of the wildlife for each zone. We're only really looking for signature pets. Capturing both the ram as well as the rat, we finish up the last of the Alliance zones in the Eastern Kingdoms. Which means we're finally tackling our first marathon. Now before you tell me there's a portal in Stormwind that takes me right to the big tree, that portal doesn't work. It only unlocks if you've done the intro quest for Dragonflight or have a character hit max level. And at the time I had recorded this, I hadn't done either of those. So our only option is the hard way. There are currently 2 ways of getting to Kalimdor from the Eastern Kingdoms. The first being from Menethil Harbor in the wetlands, which takes you to Theramore Isle in Dustwallow Marsh. And the second one, which we'll be taking, is the Harbor of Booty Bay down in Stranglethorn Vale. The boat from there will take us to the goblin town of Ratchet. From there, we will travel up through the Barrens into Ashenvale, crossing the massive forest into Darkshore, and finally swimming across the ocean to the giant world tree of Teldrassil. Sounds easy enough, but we'll be contending with not only high-level monsters, but the Horde towns and the level 80 guards defending them. But enough talking. We've got a lot of running to do. After dodging Horde and hazards alike, we finally make it to Darkshore. The only obstacle keeping us from the World Tree is the Veiled Sea. The question is, can we make it across by just swimming? The answer is obviously yes, or I wouldn't have bothered to walk all the way here. The hardest part is doing it without dying over and over, slowly inching our way over to the tree. And since we're a monk, we have the ability to self-heal, and we have superior movement abilities. And now that we've traveled all the way to the fabled home of the Kaldori, we can finally capture a rabbit. I walked 2 hours across 2 continents for a rabbit. Oh yeah, I guess I also got an owl, so kinda worth it. I'm joking, by the way, this isn't the only reason I did all this. The other more important reason why I walked all the way here was to grab all the flight points I passed by, making the eventual backtracking much easier in the long run. Which starts right now as we headed back to Darkshore immediately, where the only pet you can get is from a quest line. Deciding to skip that, we go into Ashenvale. I'm level 8 now, so I feel a little more confident in going into the level 10 zones. After catching a handful of aquatic creatures, we venture into the land of Ajara. This is where the pets start to become a little more elusive. The skunk and spider were easy to find, and utilizing our common sense, we find the turtle by the water and the mechanical pets near the goblin areas. It's the twilight beetle that actually stumps me for a bit. This beetle can only be found up north, near the twilight camps. And after fighting off some cultists and a handful of drakes, we secure the beetle and finish Ajara. From here, I headed back to the Eastern Kingdoms since we were approaching level 10, eventually hitting it while hunting pets in Stranglethorn Vale. Cleaning up the rest of the pets, I decided to hunt down one of the hardest ones to get in Classic WoW. The baby ape can only be found on this island during a rainstorm. And rainy weather in WoW is completely randomized, meaning I'll either be waiting for 10 minutes or 10 hours. Luckily, I didn't have to wait at all as it was already raining, and I went straight to work catching a baby ape as the raining could stop any second. After a successful capture, I decided to stay and hunt for a rare quality one. Since I'm most likely never coming back here, I wanted the one we had to be special. And after some ethical farming techniques, we acquired a rare ape. Now that the entirety of Stranglethorn was done, we head up to Duskwood to do two things. The first is to catch up all the creepy crawlies, but the second is to continue the main quest for pet battling. If you don't know too much about it, there's a main quest for pet battles that has you fight other trainers that increase in skill as you progress, starting in Elwyn Forest and ending in Stranglethorn. From there starts a plethora of quests to fight trainers from every expansion, but for now I plan on just facing off against the last 3 trainers to help level me up. Our add-on makes this easy as it will tell you exactly which kinds of pets to use on these trainers for a quick win. The only thing I'm lacking is skill, cause I keep losing to the pirate. Deciding to leave him for later, we head off once again to Kalimdor to clean up the level 10 zones. And while I clear these out, I want to explain the achievement side of things. There are frankly an insane amount of pet battle achievements, 477 and counting to be exact. Currently, I only want to focus on the collecting part, specifically the 2 Safari achievements for Kalimdor and the Eastern Kingdoms. Spoiler alert, I don't get these in this video. The reason is because Blizzard decided to add the Cataclysm pets as a requirement, and all the Catazones have max level pets. I do get a lot of other achievements, and I will show them off at the end of the video. But getting back into the catching, we wrap up all the level 10 zones with this giraffe. From there, I hearth back to Stormwind and head north to clear out all the rest of the level 10 zones on this side of Azeroth. And I think it's time for another montage. Now all that's left is the level 15 zones. Well, minus the Plaguelands since we cleared those on our journey to Silvermoon. In total, we have 14 final zones that we need to go to before we are done. Those being the Burning Steppes, Searing Gorge, Badlands, Swamp of Sorrows, Blasted Lands, Moonglade, Winterspring, Fellwood, Dustwallow Marsh, Thousand Needles, Unguro Crater, Feralis, Silithus, and finally, Tanaris. And with the power of editing, we got them all while I said the names. Trust me, I'd love to talk all about the pets that I grabbed, but I don't want this video to be an hour long. Since Tanaris was my final area, I decided to participate in the anniversary event to purchase pets from the vendors. And after grinding enough badges, I grabbed as many corgis as I could possibly hold. Now that we're approaching the end of the video, there's really only 3 pets left for me to catch. 2 of them requiring very specific conditions, and the other just being incredibly rare. I'm talking about the Snowy Owl, the Karaji Gardling, and the Lofty Libram. The owl and the guard are difficult as they require different seasons to appear, both winter and summer respectively. The owl was quick and easy as I started this character in January, so they were up in winter-spring. And since summer has already come and went, I was able to grab the guardling at the gates of Ankaraj. The hardest pet by far was the lofty Libram. It's only found in Hillsbrad near the crater where the magical city of Dalaran used to be. It also shares a spawn with rats. Luckily, I can spare you the hours of punching rats until a sentient book pops out from the corpses. Which is an insane sentence that I'd never thought I would say. But now, we have every pet that you can catch in Classic. And here is the list of all the achievements we got from this entire journey. As that scrolls, I'd like to take this time to promote some stuff. First is just my Twitch again, as I've been doing a lot of Legion Remix content on there. As always, there's a link to it down in the description. And while you're down there, you should join the Discord, and if you feel like it, I've added my Battle.net community as well. Also, if you've made it all the way here, you might as well like and subscribe. And also leave a comment and tell me what your favorite pet is. Mine is personally Zufu from Pandaria. But with that, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.